Foxy, we're here. Thank you very much for coming up for a chat in the podcast. Kendal, it's as we talked there, you try to get 15 minutes up the road, takes you 45 minutes to an hour. You're a well-known face around here.
Well, I wouldn't have said I'm well-known. I think people were asking me for directions more than anything. I was asking them.
But how have you settled in? Because you're with ThruDark and it's busy in that base camp.
It is very busy, yeah. It's quite impressive, actually.
Yeah.
You've got the base camp, you've got some huge brands in there. There's some pretty inspirational speakers. I actually sat in on a lady called Katie Parrott.
Yep.
I listened to her speech earlier. That was quite good. Her little Q&A on rebounding from injury and whatnot. But yeah, it's good. It's good. They've got some decent food and drink as well outside.
The food is good, and yeah, absolutely. Maybe get a beer after this. But yourself, the rehab, you've been through quite a lot yourself in the last year.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Was it the ankle?
Well, it was. I broke the sort of lower leg, so the fib and the tib.
Yeah.
But obviously, once that injury was sorted, fixed, surgeried up, it was the ankle that was affected because it was the lack of mobility. So yeah, I've been recovering from that. I've literally just within the last 2 weeks stopped hobbling, limping, what have you, and then earlier this week got out of bed in a bit of a rush, kicked the bed, and I've broken my little toe on the same side.
Oh God, unlucky. But what are you like when you're told you can't move? What are you like? Get your feet up. Are you still working the upper body, or did you actually give yourself a chance to rest and recover?
So when the injury first happened, I sort of succumbed to it because there's not an awful lot you can do. Then when I went in for surgery, the surgeon said pre-op, he said, "Oh, you're not going to be able to do any exercise for 3 weeks," and I was like, "Whatever." I thought, I'll be doing something, whether it's upper body or whatever, I'll be doing something. And he said, "Well, you can't do anything, I'm telling you." And I'm like, and I was obviously there saying to him, "Oh yeah, okay, all right." And I was thinking, yeah, whatever. Anyway, I had the op, woke up hours later, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Knackered.
So I didn't do anything. But then, yeah, it was hard the first few weeks not doing anything. But then I came back and I was doing like upper body, doing as much as I could, just moving.
And what were you doing yourself? Were you trying to get? You couldn't train, but could you get out? Could you socialise? Or I'm trying to find out. We've spoken before on the Doddie Aid podcast and everything we've done before about inside your head. What are you like when you're sort of just, you can't move, you can't go anywhere? You all right on your own?
I was actually. I was getting frustrated, like moving around the house, and I'd be on my own, and it would take me like half hour to make a cup of tea, move it from one side of the room to the other, you know, crawling up and down the stairs. So that was sort of slightly frustrating, but being in that state of injury and not knowing I couldn't do anything, I wasn't too bad. I was sort of like, I read a lot. I did a lot of, this is going to sound weird, I did a lot of visualization of the injury fixing itself. So I used to sort of like lay on the sofa and shut my eyes and think about that area fixing. I ended up getting an anatomy app and looking at the area that had been broken and just watching the movement through the app of that area. And I was like, right, that's what I'm going to be doing soon. And just kept. It sounds weird, but I genuinely reckon.
No, but is that something from military days? Is that something you've always been interested in? How do you fix yourself?
No, I've always been interested in fixing myself whenever anything's gone a little bit sort of like wrong. It's never gone that wrong though.
Okay.
And so it had become more of a mission, and I'd listened to a few things and read a few things about people doing this visualization, and I thought, right, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I got into it, and obviously it keeps your mind occupied, and it's a positive sort of thought process.
Yeah.
And I think I reckon it worked all right.
It worked all right. You're here, you're walking around, and you're getting mobbed up here at Kendal. But yourself, you're with ThruDark up here. How's it been working with those guys? Because obviously the military background there, but it looks like a lot of fun when you guys get together on social, when you're up the mountains, whatever you're doing. It does look like even the photo shoots look quite fun.
It is,
so how is that environment?
Good. The environment with the ThruDark crew is brilliant. I mean, Staz and Louis, who are the two founders, I knew them. We served together, and we've got the same sort of, I don't know, sense of humour, ethos about life. We've got a lot in common, and we'll do stuff, we'll chat, and then we'll go away and capture content, they call it, like we're doing now,
like we're doing right now.
And it's a good laugh. We've done some really cool things. We did a UK trip, which was like the South Coast, Wales, both Brecons and North Wales, then we come up to the lakes here. Did some Scotland stuff. Earlier this year we were in Morzine, so up in the Alps, doing some stuff up there for the new range. It's good fun. I say it's work, but I feel really bad about saying that because it's just a lot of fun.
That's the best thing you can do if it is a kind of work, but you enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
You love being with that group. No, you mentioned Scotland there, so let's go to a mutual friend of ours, Rob Wainwright. Let's move to Doddie Aid. What's Rob?
Pest.
He's a pest. He's a pest. He's a pest with such a good heart.
He is. If he didn't have such a good heart, I'd get him restrained.
Yeah, he needs a restraining order. I'm sure he'd laugh at that.
A digital restraining order.
But he's almost everyone's captain. You know, he's captain of Scotland. He captained Lions teams. He's done it all. But what he's done to step up for Doddie, what he's done to bring everybody, the community together for Doddie. How do you find it? Although Rob is always constantly on the phone, just in the Doddie Aid community, how are you enjoying it? And obviously, captain of the Barbarians into next season.
I feel like I've got imposter syndrome, but it's awesome. I did it. So my first year, I think, was 2021. Was it 21?
Through COVID.
It was the COVID one, but that was
it would have been 2020. 2020 was the first one, and then we did. Oh God, no, 2021.
Yeah.
We've just done 2022. We're now going to start 2023.
Yeah, so I did 2020. Sorry, it took a little bit of time.
Sorry,
to work that one out.
Don't edit that bit.
But it was 2021 was the first one because I got asked at the back end of 2020, so it was difficult, wasn't it? And I also
it was Davey Jiv, wasn't it? Was it not Davey?
It was Davey that asked me through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
So a guy called Andrew Slater. He asked me, and he'd been pestering me for ages, and I was like, I haven't got. But then obviously, I had time. You know, everyone had time, and I was like, right, I'm going to get amongst it. I had a bike in the house, and I was just going to do it as a motivation for a bit of training, and also, in fact, that was the other way around. Did it obviously because Doddie's an absolute legend, but I was also like that. I need some motivation, having come off the back end of thing, but got involved, and I just found it amazing. The community was unbelievable, and so I'm here. I'm stuck.
You're in. You're part of the furniture now. It's but that was a hell of a year. We did catch up on the 24-hour, not the 24, the 14-hour podcast that we did.
Yeah.
And I mean, nails. Hundreds of people doing 240 miles in a day, led by Mark Beaumont. And there you were in your house telling stories. It was just an incredible day.
It was
and
brilliant. Mark
went on to do it again the next year. And this year, it's still to be sort of unveiled what they're going to be doing. But I mean, the momentum's building already.
Yeah, it is good.
It's a hell of a charity.
It's an unbelievable community, innit? Mm-hmm. It is. I really enjoyed it, and that's why I'm still here.
And did you have you seen what Kevin Sinfield's doing at the moment for Rob Burrows?
I've seen what he's been doing,
7 ultras in 7 days. He's currently doing it all the way to the Rugby League final. I mean, he's stepping up. Incredible guy.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and obviously to see Doddie at the game against the All Blacks last week, he came out with his family, and it kind of hit home to everybody that there he is. Yeah. That's the guy we're all doing it for. That's the guy we're getting together for, and he's done so much to help that charity.
Yeah, it was actually quite moving, wasn't it? I saw it back home and on the TV, but it was good, really good.
Now your boys, let's go into Rugby England versus All Blacks this weekend. What are you saying? What do you think?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't want to upset anyone, but they've been a bit hit and miss, haven't they? I think the Argentinians pipped them at the post, which was it's a bit of pill to swallow. That one.
Well, we've got them this weekend. We've got the Argentinians this weekend.
They're good. They are good. They always put a shift in. They're tough blokes, aren't they? But and the Japan game, obviously, came out on top. That's great. But this is going to be a real test, I reckon.
This is it. It's massive. Yeah. But for Edinburgh, Scotland, and having the All Blacks there, the All Blacks seem to, wherever they go, brings the best out of every other team.
Yeah.
Scotland's performance last week was exceptional in parts.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just a real shame.
We just couldn't get there in the end. The strength of the All Blacks off the bench.
Yeah.
It was important that the Scotland teams fronted up, and they did that. Now we can, not trying to be happy in defeat, but we saw what we can do.
Mm. But there's a lot of positives to take away from that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I genuinely think that they showed that they dominated that game. They dominated it for ages, and the All Blacks hadn't scored for, I don't think, 40 odd minutes.
Yeah.
And then it just it's just that last little bit that needs tweaking, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. Now yourself, obviously, SAS Who Dares Wins. Where are we with that? What sort of stage are we at?
I don't know.
You don't know. How many have you done now? How many seasons?
I've done 16 seasons, so that's including Australia. So celebrity, normal Australia, and we've just done one for The Americans, so Fox over in the US, that goes out on January the 4th.
Okay.
So we're doing promo for that now. We've started the build up for that. We've just come back from Vietnam doing another 2 for the UK for Channel 4. So they'll come out again as well early next year. So it's going well. We're just, again, we're this time of year, we're always getting ready to promote and launch a series, but we're also like, is there going to be another one? We're in that stage. There's normally a decision early next year. Yeah, we're going to go again.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it, so I hope so.
And what was it like, obviously 16 seasons, what was the coast of Scotland like? Because you did a couple up there, am I right in saying? What was that?
We did 4 seasons up there, but 2 years on the bounce. So
right.
Because the way we do it is we film 2 seasons back to back. So you do a normal one and a celebrity one. So that's basically 2 seasons.
Okay.
Then we came, and because of COVID, we came back to Scotland. So normally we change locations each year.
Yeah.
But obviously we did one, which was 2019. Then COVID hit, and then they worked out that we could do another one, but we're probably better off going back to the west coast of Scotland. So we basically created our own little community on a small island, Rassay.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I love it up there. It's like a bit of a homecoming for our mountain training.
Have you got a preference against the celebrity shows to the Joe Public shows? Is there anything or real sort of differential? They're
different, but the one thing I'll say is you do we call it the civilian one weirdly, but we're all civilians. We do the civilian one, and it's intense. It's quite dark at times. Some of the people have got some really hardcore backstories, and we get it out of them, and we go through, and you see each individual's progression as they make it through, and at the end of it, it's exhausting. Then you come on to the celebrity one about 2 or 3 days later, and we go into it with a bit more of a sort of lighter-hearted approach, just because we need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always good beasting celebrities. We've got some good ones coming up.
I'll bet it is. Is there anyone out there that's, I don't know, any celebrities on your hit list? Who would you like to sort of go out or take on an adventure that put them right through their paces?
Ooh. I mean, the ones that I'd love to, I think, are out of our reach. I don't think they'd do it, but there's always like Gordon Ramsay. I reckon
you could get to Gordon Ramsay. Sure.
Well, I could do. He's a big fan of the show, apparently, but I just don't think he needs to put himself into that predicament. The weird thing is, whenever I see people or they come up to me and say, "Oh, I really want to go on that show," I'm like, "Don't do it."
Really?
For God's sakes, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Yeah, it is hard. I would go as far to say it's the hardest show on TV.
Well, no, but I've spoken to winners, and I've spoken to, was it, I forget her surname, Lou, who was in...
Oh, Lou McCulloch.
Yeah. Lou McCulloch. And when she came on, and she was like, Nashy, it is literally from the time we start to the end, because we see it once a week, and you're thinking they maybe get a rest, they maybe get this, but every 2 weeks, the way your mindset works when you're watching a TV show, how brutal it actually is, that it is non-stop.
She's hardcore as well. She was brilliant. But it is absolutely, it's nails, yeah.
And what's it like for you boys when you're in your sort of bothy, your barracks? I mean, you're back in, like, you got the gang back together. What are you guys talking about behind the scenes? And
well, you've got to be careful what we're talking about. We're always mic'd up. But yeah, mate, it's like four lads having a bit of a laugh. But we're busy. We do. It's long hours because we come back, we do the tasks, come back, then we're working out who we're going to chat to next, and then we're setting up the next day. Then we're working out who's going to go and give them a terror shake at 2 o'clock in the morning and get them out on the parade square and beast them. So, yeah, it's hard work, but it's an enjoyable hard work. It is an enjoyable hard work.
I'll bet. Well, here we are. We're at Kendal. What's left of the day? We're on Friday afternoon now. Back at 3. ThruDark. Few beers. How's
back
the day
at
looking?
The ThruDark. I've got to go and pick my missus up from the train station. She's coming up. There'll be some beers involved at some point. Probably a few more tomorrow night. And then... sort myself out and get ready for the journey home. But I've got a good couple of days yet.
Yeah, and the community, what about the Kendal community? Obviously, that everyone sort of gets together. We've had shows that I've recorded earlier just about the fact that we're all back together. We're all here, we can see each other, you can share a beer, you can jump on a podcast instead of the Zoom that's been so sort of, it's become the norm over the last couple of years.
It's the only way me and you spoke, really. It's via Zoom. But my first ever Kindle, where's that come from? I'll read that later. My first ever Kendal was at the end of 2020. So Steve asked me and Aldo to come in, get involved, and we came up here when there was no one here. We were all socially distanced. We sat down. We did a remote sort of shoot, chatted to a camera, said goodbye, and then that got streamed. And then I went back to the Castle Green Hotel and didn't see anyone, and it was all really bizarre. I got in my car and drove home. But this year is like, I mean, it's a completely different world compared to that, and it's a relief, to be fair. It's awesome. No,
it's fantastic. It's such a good space. And finally, we'll finish on Doddie Aid, because it's a big push from now to the start of January.
It's coming up.
I'm sure you'll get requests, you'll get all these sorts of things coming in, but it's awesome to have you on board.
It is, and I'm very, very, I'm humbled to be asked to be a team captain. It means I need to step up to the mark, but I'm the team captain for the Barbarians, if anyone's listening and bothered, and quite frankly, it's for an amazing cause. We're raising money for motor neuron disease and for Doddie. Basically, it's all in his name, in his honour. And as I'm a captain of the team, which is the Barbarians, sign up to the Barbarians. The Barbarians means you can come from anywhere. Don't worry about districts. This is a global district. And so there we go.
That's it. Well said. And I think Aldo, when I spoke to him earlier, he said he was going to sign up as well. So we'll just put that out there, that Aldo's going to be in your team for the Barbarians.
He better be, otherwise I'm going to give him a whack. But yeah.
Good on you, Foxy. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Cheers, Nashy. Nice one.